Uh, Hello, my dear followers and people who maybe accidentally came to my channel. I wanted to show my special sewing machine, which I'm using for last 15-16 years. It's called Necchi. It's an old model, industrial, which was made for sewing various things, among which is sewing some sort of leathers at industrial speed. This machine was brought from my other home, and the table is not from that machine, and the motor is not from that machine originally. This table is from old Czechoslovakian Minerva industrial sewing machine, but the frame of this, I don't know how to call it, the underpart that accepts the head of the machine itself, fits perfectly. So I simply put the machine on. But the problem came when I started using the old clutch motor from the Minerva sewing machine, which was old, dirty, worked hard, didn't want to really work properly. And as I'm sewing thick materials, I'm sewing backpacks, I'm sewing leather sometimes, I needed slow and very powerful machine. The motor for industrial sewing was made to work on this small pulley where my finger is, and this pulley, the big one, it was on the motor, and it was a long ratio, which meant the machine was gonna work fast, but it won't have much power and will be uncontrollable. So what I did is something very interesting. Let me show you. What I did was buying and installing Chinese made servo motor of 550 watts. Let me try to zoom in, if you can read that. I will try to zoom in. Yeah, it's 550 watts, 240 volts, and with its own computerized box to control speed, RPM, and so on, and to program it how you want it to work. You want it to work fast, slow, or whatever. The thing is, the machine came with 75mm pulley. The motor, I mean, came with a 75mm pulley, and when it was working on this pulley, it was still too fast for me, even with the lowest setting of 200 RPM for the servo motor. And I did one interesting thing, which is I created this reduction. 75mm wheel was on the motor originally, and I bought this small 45mm. I bought two of them. One I placed on the motor instead of this 75, so it goes from 45 to 75. So then goes 45 to this big, which is 130mm. So I made really good reduction, and the machine now works slow, very slow, and it works very strong. It has really good torque when it starts. These are some materials that I've been using with my machine. This is furniture, really thick material for furniture. Regular jeans, some black jeans, fake leather. I also use the real leather, and some sort of thick military materials. And this machine has zero problems with adjusting for the for these materials. Before I start sewing, I would like to show you some walking feet. This is the original walking foot. It's 4 centimeters in height, while the usual walking feet are 3 centimeters. I had to change settings inside here. There is a setting inside, I will show you that too. How I was adjusting the height of this leg to adapt to height of this shank. So one of the feet that I chose to work with, especially with leather, is the foot with wheels. This one, and I have one more which is a little bit longer with 4 more wheels, which I think is much better, but I don't know where I put it now, so sorry for that. I cannot show it right now. And the foot that I'm using now is foot from Czechoslovakian machine, which I installed this one, so I can have a little bit narrower than this. So if you can see, this one is a little bit narrower than the original, so you can see roughly almost twice the size in width, and it's easier to sew some zippers with this one. But when I get thicker layers, I usually choose wheeled foot because it goes easier than the regular metal one. To continue the types of needle that I've been using, various sizes, but I don't usually on this machine use anything less than 100, and the largest that I've used is 130. That needle is now on my machine. I will try to zoom in. If you can see, I hope you can. It's a thick needle which I use for very thick materials. So, but usually for not so thick materials like jeans, I use the 100. But when I sew cordura with several layers of straps and so on, I use 120 or I use 130. I will try to use the lighter color thread, which is this. So I will pull the foot up so I can remove the black thread from the machine, and as you can see here, I put some sponges with thread to help slow down the thread, because sometimes the thread can tie itself, and when it comes to the machine it swirls. If I said it properly, swirls? No, it goes like this, you see? Oops, sorry. It goes like this in multiple times, and it blocks your machine from working. So I will pull the thread through the machine and I will show you how to do it. On the original table, on the right side from pulleys here, on the right side is supposed to be a mechanism to wind your bobbin. So as I don't have it on this table, I usually thread like this. First one goes from the outside toward me, then like this. I will zoom in and try to show you how I do it, then put it back. I can already feel some tension as the thread goes. You see on the thread how it's trying to tighten itself into a knot, but this sponge is stopping it. It remains tightened on its path to the sewing machine, and it goes here. I have to raise the foot in between the discs here, and I keep it tightened, as you can see. Then goes through the part here. You cannot see it because of the metal protective part. I slowly put it through. Then I go here, then through this, and at the end, above the needle there is a hook from front to back, through which I hook it and loop through, and from front to back I thread the needle. That's how I do it. I always put something under the foot so the teeth do not scratch the metal foot, and it slides a little bit better. Under here, down thread is red, brick red, so I will keep it, and I will show you how I do it. This is where the lower thread is located. It works the same way as Singer sewing machines, the older ones. So how do you take it? I usually put my hand from this side. I put it in here. I use either my thumb or this finger, and I pull it out. Sorry, it's really hard to record and do it the same way at the same time. So here it is. This is how it looks. When I put it back in, I simply put it manually on filling, press it, it clicks, and that's it. My machine switch is on the right side. This is where I installed it. It's the switch for the servo motor, and there is no sound like on regular clutch motor, in which you can see that howling like whoo of the clutch motor, in which when you press the pedal it connects the clutch inside the motor and your machine starts working, and you hear that loud in most of the machines, especially the older ones who were not regularly oiled, and there is a metal clanking sound and so on. This machine is relatively silent, and now you will see. I will try to, the lowest speed is 200 RPM, and I will try to show you how low it can go. I will start with various jeans and these materials that I previously showed you. 2 layers, 4 layers of each. Then I will try making a sandwich of those materials, which you can see how it goes through thick. I will still use the 130 needle, and you will see how it goes. Here we go. Now we are sewing 2 layers of jeans. This is the sound of the motor, and this is the speed. This is the minimum speed. which I use. This is the widest seam. It's 4 millimeters. And it can give you a speed when you need it. It has the same power on low RPM as it has on high RPM because this is a servo motor. It also has a reverse. This is the handle on the left, which I press to go hold it while giving a gas, and the machine goes in reverse. I set up the maximum RPM 3,500, but it can go to 4,500, I think. That's the maximum. I don't need that much. Let's go with another one. I will put the green side because the thread is sand color and it's gonna be better seen on green. So this is furniture. Some piece of thread got stuck. Okay. And as you can see, all the time the thread from here to machine, everything is tightened fine, and it goes really nicely. So I will now continue with the leather. I will put it on 2 layers like this, and I will simply continue over this one. It really has no problems with dealing with that, with just 2 layers of it. And the best thing about this is the needle that walks. I cannot put, because my camera is on my tripod. I will try to zoom in as much as I can. So you can see there is a little space here which needle uses to walk in that space. I will try to show you slowly. You saw that? How needle walks together with material. It goes there and it walks slowly as it goes down together with material. Then it goes up, then forward again, and you see these 4 millimeters of walk is really great. Let's see how it looks from the other side. The seam looks fine. I just need to tighten it a bit, but that's not an issue. Let's go in reverse. This is how it goes. I will now try to put all the materials together, one under another, so you can see how it sews through the sandwich of different materials. What we have here now is a sandwich of 5 materials, of which each has 2 layers. That means 10 layers of different materials. Let's see how it goes. For the machine, that's nothing. You see it can go slow and it has power. You know how the machine sometimes when you put it in a position where it just touched the material, and on some machines you press the pedal and the machine is torturing itself to start. This is how this one goes. It doesn't, you can run it on small RPM and it goes without any issues. This is 10 layers of material and it's very silent. If we take in consideration this is at least 40-50 years old machine, it runs relatively silent, precise, without any issues. It needs some fine tuning, but with 10 layers it solves without problems. Okay, that was the sewing of materials, you saw it, and now I'm gonna switch to show you how to adjust the shank, the length, the height of this pin that holds the foot and the height of this shank. As you saw, this lamp here is not original. I drilled a hole and mounted the lamp. This lamp is from old Czechoslovakian sewing machine. I didn't have any other lamp on this sewing machine, so I mounted it so I can have a light from this side. Although sometimes I need to change the position of the lamp so I can see better some seams, especially when I work with darker ones, with darker materials. And now I will try to help you adjust the height of this pin that holds the foot. So we have one bolt here, one here, and one up. I usually take down lower ones first. You will need one screwdriver with a flathead and with a thin flathead. So these screws have really thin place for the screwdriver. And when I'm unscrewing this, I'm making sure that at the end I hold it by hand so it doesn't fall off. I deliberately not using the power tools for unscrewing because I don't want my threads damaged accidentally. I will now zoom in to show you the spot. This is the screw. You need to unscrew to release it because this thing holds. This is the bolt that tightens the foot when it presses down. I usually release it completely so it doesn't give any pressure on it. There is a spring, and when you take it, this pin that goes down, it's hollow. As you can see, it's hollow, and this thing around it holds its position. So you can unscrew this one. Sometimes it's hard because it's old, it's never been moved, and when you release that, your foot will easily go up or down. This pin will go easily up and down. As you can see, the pin goes through this thing easily without any issues, and with that you are simply adjusting the position of the foot depending on the height of your foot. As you can see, The old foot is higher for 1 centimeter, so it needed to be like this. You see what's the difference between these two? How tall it would stand if I didn't adjust it. It would simply be not touching the material at all. As you can see how much pin is up. But now, with putting it normally down, you can adjust its height, you can adjust its position left and right, how it stands. Always try to make it as parallel as possible with the lower transport teeth. You can view it directly from this position. You stand here and you look at it. You see, you have to put it like this to be as precise as possible. Sorry for my movement on cameras. The camera stands on tripod and I got tight space. So now when you have chosen your position, you can easily put it there and you're going back to your screw. You have to do it with two hands. One hand still holds the foot and the left hand is taking the screw. It's not easy job, especially for people who haven't done it. You have to tighten it properly, firmly, but do not over tighten it so you don't break the thread inside. It's really complicated thing. You have to re-thread it again. After that, if you mess it up, you have to find tools for re-threading. These are the tools for threading, and it's not easy. So when you adjusted your height of foot, you're ready to put your cover back on. How I usually do it, I put the screwdriver inside the screw and I visually verify that the screw is it's inside the hole, and first thing I do is the upper screw, but I don't screw it all the way. I let the cover move left and right so I can easily adjust the lower screws. As I'm right-handed, doing this with my left hand, it's hard job. Sorry. Don't over tighten it until all 3 bolts are inside. Now you can go back to your upper bolt and you can tighten it, but also do not over tighten it, as it doesn't need to be over tight. It just needs to stand. It doesn't move. That would be it. Adjusting the tension of your thread is here. As I'm using very hard nylon thread for sewing thick materials, I put tension higher than usual. So this tension depends on the type of thread you're using. I think as people who use industrial machines, they usually use these thick threads. They mostly sew thicker materials, and I think that you would be using too. So that would be it for now. If any of you have any particular questions, any tests you want me to do with the machine, please write in comments and I will be ready to do whatever you need to test the machine.